Hi, welcome to Heart Talk, a 6-part relationship podcast that invites you to have real conversations about real relationship realities. In our last episode, we looked at how to develop a relationship in the dating process. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen it or listened to it, go back, go and watch it or listen to it. I'm your host, Jose. And it's been my pleasure over the last 5 episodes to have been your host. And as you know, the last 5, my wife was with me. Today, unfortunately, she's not able to be with me. But today is the final topic. So we're getting to the 6th part. Okay. And so I thought I would just kind of continue. It was dating last time. And now I'm going to just speak about the topic of the question, am I ready for love again after heartbreak? Wow. I think back in my own life, in my early 20s, I was in a relationship. And fortunately, if I reflect back on it, it was just the beginning of a relationship. It was actually my first kind of dating. Can you believe it? I know in today's time, to be 20 and be in your first dating relationship's like, really? But yes, it was. And I went through heartbreak because it was ended by the other party. And when going through heartbreak, there's always loss and there's always some pain. But I wish, or it would have been great if the wisdom I'm going to share with you today, I had that wisdom then as a young adult. It would have helped me navigate it a bit better. But nevertheless, I got through it and eventually met my wonderful wife, Cheryl. We have learned and gained a lot of wisdom in terms of relationships. So let me just to introduce this. Breakups and heartache are some of the most painful experiences that we can go through in life. And when a relationship of any kind, but of a romantic kind or intimate kind ends, especially if it meant a lot to you, it can leave you feeling lost. It can leave you feeling alone and unsure if you ever going to be ready to open your heart again and begin another relationship. But before you despair and feel hopeless, there is good news. The good news is with time, but also, and this is the key point, with intentional self-work, you can heal those wounds, and you can prepare yourself emotionally to get into a relationship and find the love that you are looking for again. So I'm going to share with you some key signposts, I'd like to call them, that let you know that you're on the right track, that you're on the path that you need to be in order to get back into that place of starting another relationship. And the first signpost is you have fully grieved the loss. Grief is a necessary part of healing from heartbreak. And what does that mean? It means acknowledging and feeling the full extent of your sadness over what you have lost. And just some key factors of productive grieving, because grieving can also be very unproductive and kind of keep you stuck somewhere, but there is productive grieving. And yes, there's some key factors that you need to include. The first one is accepting that you can't control or you can't change the other person's choices, even if it's painful, And I think sometimes what happens is we desperately try to think, or we say to ourselves, if I can only just change this person and get them to think differently, be different, then this whole thing is going to just come back together again. Just accept it's out of your control. You can't change this. Okay. Secondly, identify the specific things that you miss about that relationship, or that you valued about that relationship, because it wouldn't have been all bad. Okay, there would have been good things, and allow yourself, because if you just think about, okay, these are the things that I'm missing and this is why I'm grieving and it's important, it'll allow you to say a complete goodbye, you know. Um, and then the next one is leaning on comforting friends during this time and getting the support that you need. You know, friends that will just come and sit with you in your feelings, whatever that might be, and they won't try and fix you. You know, you don't want friends that are going to, oh, let me give you some advice. You know, let me tell you what to do. And they're just going to come there and be with you and allow you to express your feelings and hopefully in that cheer you up, you know, and get you to maybe not to be totally consumed with what has happened. And then allow yourself to really feel that sadness and that loss, you know. So give yourself some time alone, you know, even if you have to go away a day or two and have a little quiet retreat somewhere, and remember and reflect and maybe journal if you love journaling, and let yourself cry if needed, you know. Don't suppress and say, I've got to be strong, you know. Let yourself cry over what has happened, and give yourself permission and time to fully process the loss. Okay, you don't want to rush the grieving process because what that can do is it can lead you to getting stuck. Okay, and you don't want to be stuck. So when you allow this whole grieving process to unfold, I assure you, I can't guarantee you, but I assure you, in most cases, over time, the pain will transform from that raw wound that you may be feeling now or that you're familiar with into a memory. Okay, so you'll never forget that relationship, but those feelings of anguish or anger or bitterness or yearning, they will no longer control you because you would have processed that and dealt with that. So that's the first part, grieve the loss. Okay. The second signpost is you understand the relationship patterns involved. You need to gain insight into what drew you into that relationship and also what ultimately went wrong in that relationship, because that will give you some wisdom in choosing more wisely in the future. All right. So here's some questions you need to ask yourself. Is what initially attracted me to this person? What were the characteristics, the traits, the values that you saw in this person? Because that attracted you, because those are probably still the same values and traits and characteristics that you would still want to see in somebody new. Okay. You also then, the other side is, when did I notice the problems? When did I see the red flags, you know? And the most important question is, how did I justify, having seen those red flags, having experienced and seen the problems, how did I just justify them and stay in the relationship? Or how did I minimize them in order to stay in the relationship? That's very important. And the third question you need to ask yourself is, how might my family background and my formative experiences made me more vulnerable to this dynamic of the breakup? Okay. So some examples of that are, if you had a parent or parents who was loving, but they were very unreliable, okay, then what might happen is you may be drawn to very charismatic, loving, showering, you know, they do all the right things, flourish you with all that stuff, but they're actually irresponsible in many other areas. Okay? Or if you experience from your parents or from other significant other people in your life, very conditional love, you know, if you do this, then you might have the tendency to be overwilling to tolerate mistreatment. Okay, so you need to examine your family patterns, and if you struggle to do that on your own, then I would suggest, you know, go see a lay counselor or professional counselor and help them, you know, to help you work through what are the family dynamics or family patterns that I've been brought up with, because you want to connect those dots. You want to connect the dots between your past and your heartbreak, because my own experience and many people that we've counseled, there are always connections. All right, it's very seldom that it's just the present that is causing the problem. There's our connections to the past, and then when you gain all this awareness, you're less likely to repeat old painful cycles from your perspective. Okay. So that's the second signpost. The third signpost is you've rebuilt your sense of self, right? Breakups often go hand in hand with identity crisis. So when a relationship is central to our lives, losing that relationship can make us feel lost. And we kind of lose our sense of identity. All right. And so a key task that you need to do yourself is reconnect with yourself. But reconnect with yourself outside of that relationship or any other intimate relationship at that in this moment of your breakup. Okay. So here's some practical ways. Spend time pursuing interests. Set goals for yourself, short-term, medium-term goals. Get involved in activities that will energize you and lighten you up, and take your focus off that all-consuming breakup that you've just experienced. Invest in your own self-care, and treat yourself with kindness. Build your life, or a life that you love living. And you love living that life regardless of your relationship status. Right? We become so obsessed with. And I know even on social media, you have a relationship status, but people become so obsessed as, what does that relationship status look like, and that kind of defines our lives. No, your life is defined outside of your relationship status. Do we need relationships? Yes, we do, of various kinds, but it's not defining who you are. So you need to develop a strong relationship with yourself, because that will protect you against any codependent tendencies, okay? And it will make you more grounded. And ultimately, what it will do for you, it will actually make you a more attractive partner, right? For somebody else when that time is right. I always say to young couples, and even my daughter, I said to her, who are you becoming, that will make it attractive for somebody else? We're so upset, like, let me find this person that's just going to be the right person, and we're scouting around looking around, and we kind of have this whole standard and picture of what they must look up. But you've got to ask yourself, am I becoming what I'm looking for? So very key, become that person that is attractive to somebody else. So that's your third signpost. The fourth signpost is you're letting friends meet your emotional needs. It's easy to look to romantic relationships to meet all our needs for intimacy and for validation. But having all your emotional eggs in one basket, it's going to make breakups even more devastating. Okay. So it's important to cultivate close friendships that will nourish you. All right. So think about the needs. Think about the needs that your partner met. Like they were very empathetic towards you. They offered you some sense of security and safety. They were fun to be with. They stimulated you intellectually. So they're also legitimate needs and needs that you wanted. But you don't have to necessarily find that in a romantic partner. You can find that in friendships. So consider, how can my friends help me meet those needs in platonic ways? And so let your trusted friends comfort you when you're going through tough times. Let them affirm you. Let them affirm your strengths. Let them engage with you in various ways, because the power of friendship will help you heal, even in this time of your breakup, and even going forward. Even if you do find somebody and the relationship's going well, you still want friends. I think in today's society, we've lost the art of building friendships. We've become so isolated ourselves, and I think social media and all the technologies enabled us to kind of stay connected in some way, but to isolate ourselves and not really build friendships and invest time in building friendships. So let your friends also meet your emotional needs. And then we get to the fifth signpost is you're not looking to others to complete you. So when you've done the grieving work, when you've done the self-reflection work, you will no longer feel an anxious drive to find the one, to fix everything for you. Because you will know that you are whole, you will know that you are valued, you will know that you are worthy on your own, in your own person. And ultimately, a relationship is not something that you desperately need. It's something that you just want to add to your life, So you're feeling life's good, I'm enjoying life, it's going the right way. Now, is there somebody out there that can join me in this journey? Is there somebody that will not complete me, but complement me and help me, and we can do this journey together? That's how you want to approach relationships. It's not something that you desperately need in order to feel okay. So once you've laid all that groundwork, you're in a solid position then to get back into dating. And you can take your time getting to know someone, all right? And the fact that you will feel secure in yourself if you've done this work is you will be able to take your time. You won't rush into another relationship because you're not looking for them to heal your past hurts or to complete you. Instead, you're ready to engage from a place of wholeness. So you're seeking that partner to share your life with. But remember, there's always risk involved in love, okay? But you will be in a better position to step out and to take that risk of loving again because you will have built that emotional resilience, if I can call it, to love in a courageous way and to step out and risk. So those are the 5 signposts, all right? But here are some signs to look for that suggest you still have healing to do, right? So I think that's important as well. What are the signs that, hang on, I haven't healed yet? Okay, so the first one is you compulsively check your ex's social media. Okay, you're unable to resist the urge to keep tabs on, what's he doing in his life? Oh, look, he's met somebody. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's a sign that you haven't got over it, okay? The second one is you feel kind of a sense of dread when you go to events without a +1. It's like, I'm on my own. What are people going to think? I don't want to be on my own, all right? Then that kind of means you haven't worked through it. You haven't got over it. Third one is you still feel those pangs of intense anger or resentment or bitterness when you think about your ex and how they hurt you, because without a doubt, they've hurt you and you've very likely hurt them, all right? The fourth one is your conversations with friends continually revolve around analyzing your past relationship. So on the one hand, you want to do your self-reflection analysis, but you don't want to spend all your time, and especially with all your friends, just talking about and analyzing your past relationship. And the fifth sign is when dating someone new, you find yourself overcome with suspicion, or you have a fear of that you're going to be abandoned again, you're going to be rejected, you're going to be jilted again, okay? Even when things are going well, you'll have this kind of suspicion. Oh, no, when's this going to end? Okay, so those are 5 signs that tell you, hang on, I haven't got over this. I haven't healed, all right? And the question always, well, how long is this going to take? As long as it needs to take, all right? As long as it needs, you need to do the work. And you will know when you're in that place of being healed, okay? And lastly, just some other questions to ask yourself. Just 5 other questions. Question 1, if I'm honest, am I looking to a new relationship to fix or to save me? And what would it look like for me to feel more complete on my own? Question 2 is, what did I learn from my past relationships about what I need and want in a partner? What are those deal breakers? I'm not going to compromise on certain things. Question 3 is, who are the people I can rely on for support and encouragement? And how can I deepen those connections? Question 4, what parts of myself and my life have I been neglecting? How can I begin to nurture those again? And the last question is, what boundaries do I need to set with myself and others to honor my own healing process? So those are just 5 very important questions. And as you've seen, they're all related to what I've just shared. So by asking yourself these questions, you will begin to unpack what you need to unpack. So moving on after heartbreak, if I can say, is a profound act of courage. Okay. Be patient with yourself and with others. Be compassionate with yourself through the process. And if you commit to doing that inner self-work, you can emerge with a deeper capacity to love and to be loved. And you know what? Your heartbreak can ultimately be a doorway to a wiser and more resilient you and a better relationship. And that brings us to the end of our final episode. So thank you for tuning in to Heart Talks. If you found this episode helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. And if you found any of our previous episodes helpful and you want to book a session with myself and my wife, Cheryl, please contact us at jcyartu@talcomsa.net. We have a practice called J&C Relationship Counseling, and we would love to engage with you to help you on your journey. So until next time, this is your host, Jose, signing off.